There's a common saying that you hear among film critics and on the internet with movie reviewers or just the casual fan that comedy sequels usually suck. And for the most part, they're right. Even I admit that. Most comedy sequels are terrible because it's really hard to make one good comedy, let alone two, especially within a franchise. But there are some rare instances where comedy sequels end up being actually good, and some of them end up actually exceeding and being better than their predecessors. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. 10 comedy sequels that don't suck. And I'm going to go through them in alphabetical order, not in order of their overall quality. Some I like more than others, but I just decided to handpick 10 comedy sequels that I personally feel do not suck, and just wanted to make a fun video about it, change things up a bit. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started.
Excellent!
My name is Jeff.
22 Jump Street. 22 Jump Street is a comedy sequel that definitely does not suck. It actually, in some instances, is better than the first film, especially when it comes to the action sequences, in particular the fight scenes. Now, this film also returns most of the original cast. You got the main guys, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, who are really, really great together. They have some of the best chemistry that I've seen lately out of a lot of new actors, a lot of actors who are big today. And you could make an argument that they're this generation's Laurel and Hardy or Abbott and Costello. Their chemistry is that good, and they're that great at comedy. Channing Tatum is a real surprise. The first film was a real surprise to me, too. The first film, I didn't have much hope for. I didn't grow up with the show. I thought it was just another lazy Hollywood reboot. But the first film really surprised me. I thought it was funny. I thought it was one of the more impressive action comedies that I'd seen lately. And I really, really enjoyed that film when I saw it in the theater. And 22 Jump Street, I don't know. I was like, does the first film really need a sequel? And the trailers didn't interest me. But I eventually rented it and I saw it with my parents. And well, they weren't that enthusiastic about the film, and I think that kind of rubbed off on me. So the first time around, I was like, on it. But then I watched it again by myself because I usually watch things at least twice. At least movies that I can feel like I can at least stand to watch twice before I review them. And I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a really, really entertaining, fun, brilliant meta sequel with some really great meta humor, some new additions to the cast that were very welcome, especially the actress Jillian Bell, I believe her name is. Peter Stormare was pretty good too. And yeah, I mean, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum pick up where they left off in the first film, have really great chemistry with one another, and the film also has some crazy, even more crazy action sequences. In particular, the fight scenes on the beach, nice little fun car chases. There's a little fun car chase, a little fun action sequence in the beginning with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill that reminded me of something out of Beverly Hills Cop. It was just a very, very enjoyable, fun, entertaining sequel that is definitely one of those comedy sequels that does not suck.
It's an Addams.
Addams Family Values. The family just got a little stranger. This is a film that is another comedy sequel that I personally feel is better than the first film. I don't think it's just as good as the first film, and I don't think it's just better than the first film in some aspects. I think it's a better overall movie than the first film is. Addams Family Values I think it's a very underrated sequel for one, and it improves upon the first film in so many ways. For one, I think it's personally funnier. 2, it has a much better villain in Joan Cusack, who plays this Black Widow serial killer, who she is absolutely having a blast playing this role. You can tell she's really into it. She's performing with such unholy relish playing this serial killer bitch from hell. It's so much fun to watch. You can't help but really enjoy the performance. It's my favorite performance of hers, by the way, too. And Addams Family Values also, it has some really, really great shots. The direction is a big step up because this shows Barry Sonnenfeld. He's had a little bit more under his belt by this time because the first film was his directorial debut. So there were some things that were really fantastic, that looked really great, but there's other times where it could be a bit better. Here, things flow better. It feels like a full finished movie. It feels like a full feature-length film. The first movie at points felt like it was just a series of vignettes, a series of sequences that were just kind of put together, but without much of a flow. This one has a flow. It has different sort of plot lines going throughout it. You had that are all interesting. The stuff with Fester and his new wife, Joan Cusack. You have the whole stuff with Pubert, the baby, the stuff with Morticia and Gomez. The cast is phenomenal. Of course, everyone returns for the first casting. I think Carol Kane replaces the original actress who played the grandma, and I actually like her more than the other actress. So I think that's actually an improvement. And of course, we have Christina Ricci, who comes back as Wednesday Addams, and she steals the show. One of the big reasons why I love this film and why I think it's better than the first movie is her whole subplot when she goes to summer camp. It's such a brilliant part of the film, and I love it. It's great. It's such a wonderful example of black humor. I love black humor when it's done correctly, and this is a great example of that. And it's definitely not PC. This is something that they would never even think about doing today, which is really too bad because you're really selling yourself short in terms of the type of humor that you can do if you just don't have the balls to go there. And this film has them, and it's so much fun. I mean, the scene where it's the whole Thanksgiving play, and Wednesday and the other kids, they hijack it, and they're supposed to play the Indians who are supposed to like feed food to the pilgrims, and they just lose it and burn the whole place down, and it's so great. This whole scene is basically flipping off the politically correct, and I can't help but really, really enjoy that, especially nowadays. And the whole scene where this is how brilliant this film is. For a punishment, Wednesday Addams and this other guy, and her friend that she met at camp, they're sent to this little hut, and they're forced to watch Disney movies. So it's as fun and as hilarious as you think it is. It really is. If you haven't seen Addams Family Values, check it out. Even if you weren't that big of a fan of the first film, because there's a lot more stuff going on here. There's a lot more to grasp onto, and it's just such a phenomenal sequel. It's so good. I love this movie. I think it's very underrated, and I've reviewed the film before on my channel, so if you're curious about it, just search Addams Family Values in the search box, and you'll find the review. But yeah, it's kooky, it's ooky, it's a little weird, it's a little strange, but it's a lot of fun too, and it's definitely one of the better sequels out there, and it's definitely a comedy sequel that doesn't suck.
I'm going deep, 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 deep undercover.
Beverly Hills Cop 2. This is another comedy sequel that, if you ask me, is every bit as good as the first film, if not better at some points. I know I've said that before about films like 22 Jump Street, but that definitely does apply when it comes to Beverly Hills Cop 2, especially the action sequences. Tony Scott does a great job with the action. The first film had some good action bits, the chase in the beginning and the shootout at the end, but this just packs it with so much more action. I mean, You have a cool opening action sequence. You have an even better shootout at the end. You have a great chase. You have a great pace. And you also have a lot of funny moments. So I think it's not as loaded with gags as the first film, but the gags, when they are there, are still laugh out loud hilarious. And the action is taken to a whole nother level in the sequel. I don't understand why the sequel is maligned. I don't understand why this is a film that's considered really bad. I've seen people say that this is an example of a comedy sequel that does suck, and I don't understand that, and I respectfully disagree. If you feel that way, that's fine, but I don't get it. Beverly Hills Cop 2 to me is an excellent sequel and a great film. It's a classic. It's Eddie Murphy at his finest, at his peak, and it kicks the shit out of Beverly Hills Cop 3, which isn't even funny in the slightest, and the action isn't anywhere near as exciting as the action in this film. It also has a great soundtrack. I mean, who doesn't remember Bob Seger's Shakedown? I mean, shake down, break down, take down, everybody walks into the crowd line. Shake down, take down, you're busted. Dun, dun. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. You have all the original cast returning. Rosewood and Judge Reinhold's character and John Astin. They're able to do more in this. They have more to do than they did in the first film. They have a bigger role. I mean, Rosewood has this awesome moment where he's Rambo, basically, kicking ass, or Cobra. It's a really, really entertaining, fun sequel. I don't get the crap it gets. I didn't get the critical disdain it got when it came out, and I still don't. In my opinion, if you really enjoy Beverly Hills Cop, you're gonna have a blast with Beverly Hills Cop 2. But if you don't, that's fine. But Beverly Hills Cop 2 to me is every bit as fun, every bit as entertaining, if not even more action-packed than the first movie is. And Eddie Murphy's at his peak. You got a great supporting cast. You got Brigitte Nielsen as one of the bad guys, one of the villains. Jurgen Prochnow, Ronnie Cox comes back. It's Tony Scott's direction is great. Harold Faltermeyer's score, because I think he comes back and does the score. Does he come back and do the score, or is it somebody else? Yeah, Harold Faltermeyer comes back. It's one of the best comedy action movies, one of the best action comedies ever, if you ask me. And it's definitely the last great Beverly Hills Cop movie. And one of the last great action comedies that Eddie Murphy did. I mean, I really like Metro, but I definitely would say I like Beverly Hills Cop 2 more. But anyway, yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 2 is definitely another example of a comedy sequel that does not suck.
Welcome to hell. The way. What?
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I really enjoy the first film. I always have. I grew up watching the first and the second film a lot, religiously when I was a kid. I rent the VHS tapes. One of the first DVD sets I remember getting was the set that had this film and the sequel and the bonus disc. I mean, I remember having Bogus Journey on DVD because it was a bonus that I got with like Pizza Hut, like with a pizza. So I remember that. I remember Bogus Journey was a part of, like, was it Domino's or was it Pizza Hut? Like, Bogus Journey was one of the films you could pick to get for free with your pizza. I mean, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty excellent if you ask me. I mean, Bogus Journey and pizza, good. But anyway, and over the years, I've just really come to really appreciate this film, and I think I root for the underdog. I usually do. The first film gets all kinds of praise, and justifiably so. It's a classic. But if you ask me, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is every bit of a classic, and then some. I actually like this film more than the first film because it's such a unique, imaginative, zany, wildly creative sequel. There is not another sequel like this. It takes twists and turns. It takes chances that most sequels don't, and it's to the film's benefit. It's like it took the crazy ideas that the first film had and then just completely ran with it. And it really shows. I love Bogus Journey. I think it's not bogus at all. I don't have very many problems with the film. It's got great examples of black humor, stuff that I love, just like I was mentioning when I was talking about Addams Family Values. You have stuff like the stuff with death with William Sadler, I absolutely adore. I love it. The whole scene where Bill and Ted are beating death at these board games is kind of dumb and kind of stupid, but at the same time, it's brilliant because it's so well executed. I mean, who doesn't laugh at William Sadler's deadpan? I mean, here's Bill and Ted, two stoner doofuses, who are all beating death. And no one has done this before. And everything they come up with, they win. I mean, they're playing Battleship. And they're just like, and one of Bill or Ted is like, B-17, dude. And it's like, and Def's like, hit. You sunk my battleship. I crack up every time. And stuff like, don't fear the Reaper, dude. There's so many moments in this movie that just crack me up that I love. I mean, they're falling down into hell. They're all like, ah! And they're, dude, yeah, what? We should play like 20 questions. Yeah, okay, all right. What am I thinking of? A tank. Yeah, excellent. Ah! I don't know if I got the quote exactly right, but oh man. And then the one that I always remember cracks me up so much. It's near the end where they're in heaven and they're trying to explain why they should be sent back to Earth. And Bill and Ted are all like, every rose has its thorn. Just like every cowboy. So it's like every rose has its thorn. Just like every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. Oh god, I probably missed a quote there because it's a Motley Crue song. Every rose has its thorn, so every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. Oh, anyway, yeah, I love it. Like every night has its dawn. It's like every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. It's like every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. It's so dumb, but you can't help but laugh. If you enjoy stuff like Wayne's World, you're definitely gonna get a kick out of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I mean, it's got a bigger budget than the first film, and it shows. I mean, everyone from the original cast returns. Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, William Sadler joins the cast. Joss Ackland, Denomilos joins the cast. George Carlin comes back. You have an excellent soundtrack. You have an epic scene at the end where Bill and Ted have this awesome concert. They go up against their evil robot usses, and the evil robot usses are great too. I mean, I love those guys. They're like twisted, but they're hilarious. Like they're making a point to like trash their room or like to run over a cat. It's so twisted and messed up, but you can't help but laugh. And this is definitely it's definitely, the first film was more tailored towards young adults and like teenagers. This film is more tailored towards 20-somethings. There's some things that teenagers and stuff and kids can enjoy, but seeing this film as an adult, I get so much more fun out of it than I did when I was a kid because there's so many different references and jokes that I did not get at all when I was a kid. And yeah, I mean, they got the twisted nightmare sequences in hell with the bunny rabbit and the military guy is trying to make him do push-ups, and it's just, I love Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I know it sounds like a broken record, but I really do. I think this is a most triumphant film. I really do. And the ending, epic. I mean, they're playing the concert. Their good robot usses, with the help of Station, kick the shit out of their evil robot usses. They have this just jaw-dropping, balls out, fucking kick-ass concert with God Gave Rock and Roll to You by Kiss, featuring an absolutely just dynamite guitar solo by Steve Vai, and it's awesome. I mean, how can you, if you're a fan of metal, you're a fan of rock, you're a fan of metal, how can you not just rock out to that end concert? And it's just, they finally wrote the song that saved the world. It's just, yeah, I know I've gone the longest out of all of these films on this movie because I haven't reviewed this film yet, and I need to get on it. I really do. So this is not the last you've heard of me when it comes to talking about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I definitely feel that Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is not heinous at all. It's a good, possibly, actually, honestly, great sequel. And one of the, definitely not a comedy sequel that sucks.
2 in the box.
Ready to go.
We be fast and
They be slow.
Ghostbusters II. Guess who's coming to save the world again? I have gone on for ages on this movie already on this channel. I've reviewed this film twice. I reviewed it in like a multi-part review I did like years ago. Then I redid a review that's like over an hour long. But I couldn't help it because I love this film. I unabashedly love Ghostbusters 2. I think it's only a small step down from the first film, and that's only because I don't find it as funny as the first film. But there's still some really fun, hilarious, quotable moments in the movie, and it's another sequel that I feel is underrated. I don't understand the backlash this film gets. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as people say it is. And if you ask me, I haven't seen the reboot yet, but I'm pretty much prepared to guarantee that this is going to kick the shit out of that movie in terms of overall quality. And I'm definitely not afraid to admit that. Ghostbusters 2, you have all the original cast returns. You got Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, Andy Potts, Rick Moranis. You even got the actor who played the mayor. He comes back. You have newcomers like Harris Yulin, who pretty much runs away with the entire courtroom sequence. You have the guy, I'm trying to remember this actor's name. He was in, this guy was in, it's the guy who plays the lawyer's aide, and he was in No Holds Barred as well. And he's such an asshole. He's honestly kind of an underrated asshole. I mean, everyone talks about Walter Peck, and understandably so, but this guy was even more of an asshole. I mean, he sent the Ghostbusters to an insane asylum, pretty much. He sent them to the crazy house. Kurt Fuller. And yeah, in some ways it's a little bit tamer than the first film. It doesn't have that grit that the first film had. You can definitely tell, but at the same time, it's still so much fun. I love the idea of the slime. The mood slime is a genius concept. I enjoy the soundtrack. I think it's every bit as fun as the first film soundtrack. I mean, the Run DMC version of the Ghostbusters theme, I like, but I don't like as much as the classic Ray Parker Jr. Version. But I still can listen to it. But I really do like the Bobby Brown song On Her Own. And I guess we're gonna have to take control. We got. If it's up to us, we've got to take it home. Gotta take it home. Gotta take it home. Oh, yo. I guess if it's up to us, we've got to take control. Yeah, it's a really fun song. I really enjoy it. Yeah, I played the fool there, but I did a whole video where I literally danced to that song, wearing my Ghostbusters 2 shirt for a video editing class at college. So yeah, that's how much I love that song, and I just really enjoy this movie. It got great, fun ghost effects, really imaginative stuff like the Statue of Liberty coming to life. Vigo's a good villain too. Yeah, I would have liked to seen them do a little bit more with Vigo at the end, but I still think they did a good job regardless. And of course, Peter McNichol, Janish, who could forget Janish? Yeah, it's it's a great sequel. It's a lot of fun. It's every bit as entertaining as the first film. It just isn't as funny. It isn't as, let's just say, as much of a watershed film like the first film was, and that's to be expected. The first film was a perfect storm. Rarely, if ever, films that great roll along. So the sequel, though, it's not bad. It's pretty great in its own right. I think it's one of the best comedy sequels out there, if you ask me. So, and the cast looks like they're all having a blast. Bill Murray says things like, "Oh, I hated this movie," or "I didn't have fun doing the production." It sure doesn't look like it. I can't tell. I mean, these guys made this film only because, hey, they were hanging out together and they thought they just started shooting the shit, and they're talking about Ghostbusters. They're like, would be fun to make another one, and they did, and that's what put the wheels in motion. Um, it's a lot better than Dan Aykroyd's original idea, Return of Ghostbusters, which involved fucking fairies and like trolls or gnomes or some shit. I mean, this could be a lot worse, way worse. But the way it is, it's still a really fun, entertaining sequel. And it's scarier than the first film, if you ask me. This film scared the shit out of me as a kid, especially the tunnel sequence. Winston! Oh! Fucking severed heads and shit. It was like, God, just thinking about that gives me the heebie-jeebies. Or the stuff where Janusz has like his red eyes and he's like scanning the hallways. Anyway, yeah. I really enjoy Ghostbusters 2. It's got great effects by ILM. It's got an underrated score by Bernie. Who did the score? Randy Edelman, which is still unreleased to this day. I don't understand that. And got all the cast comes back. Ivan Reitman comes back to direct. And it's a well put together, well shot, well edited movie, big budget sequel. It's got laughs, it's got scares, it's got action, bits of action, it's got entertainment, it's got it all. I love Ghostbusters 2. I definitely think it's a sequel that doesn't suck, especially a comedy sequel that doesn't suck.
Now, was that civilized? No, clearly not. Fun, but in no sense civilized.
Gremlins 2, the new batch. I don't have anything to show you because I don't have this movie on DVD yet. I had it on VHS, and I thought I got it on DVD, but I guess I didn't, so I got rid of the VHS. I don't have anything to show you. But, that being said, I really enjoy Gremlins 2. In some instances, I like it more than the first film. I love the idea of the Gremlins taking over a skyscraper. You got all the cast coming back. I mean, you got Phoebe Cates, you got Zach Galligan. Of course, the cute Mogwai, comes back as well. And Gizmo. And you have new Gremlins, too. I mean, it ups the ante. There's all different types of visual effects and crazy visuals. It's probably less scary than the first film is. It definitely is more comedic, but it definitely still has its scary moments. I mean, Mohawk Spider. I mean, Spider Mohawk. That's pretty scary stuff. But yeah, I love the skyscraper element of it. There's not that many films that take place in a skyscraper, especially movies that deal with, things like Gremlins and the fact that it takes place at Clamp. You have all these different sort of things for the Gremlins to get into. So you have all these different hybrids of Gremlins. I mean, you have like the Bat Gremlin, you got the female Gremlin, you have the electricity Gremlin. Of course, you have Mohawk, who becomes the Spider Gremlin. You have Brain, the Brain Gremlin. I mean, all kinds of fun to be had with this movie. Doesn't matter what version you see. If you see the theatrical version or the home video version, you have some fun stuff, like the Gremlins interrupt the movie, or in the theatrical version, they interrupt the film, and Hulk Hogan comes in and gets them to get out of the movie, to let the movie keep playing. because, he's ready to go wild, run wild over these gremlins if they don't stop running amok. And you got fun cameos by genre legends like Christopher Lee. Joe Dante comes back to direct it. So, yeah, it's one of those sequels that is just as good as the original, if you ask me. I think it's pretty underrated. I really like the new batch. I need to get the new batch on DVD. I know. I wish I could show it to you. I need it. I need to get it. I need to get it on Blu-ray along with the Diamond edition of the first film. Mogwai is back and he's better than ever. I mean, he is inspired by Rambo and is like shooting flaming arrows. Mogwai is a badass in this. I mean, that's really cool. Yeah, it's a blast. It's a really fun movie. Uh, there's even more gremlins in this than there were in the first film. It's one of those sequels that just it takes things up to another notch. It turns things up to 11, and it definitely does not suck.
Let the sun come out, you big bad G.I. Joe.
Hot Shots Part 2. Now, the first film is a time waster for me, but Hot Shots Part 2, I love this movie. I think this film is an absolute knee slapper. I think it's one of the best comedies of the 90s. I think it's one of the best parody comedies ever, if you ask me. It's such a top-notch, dead-on parody of action films, in particular the Rambo series. It's one of my favorite Charlie Sheen films. It's my favorite movie that Jim Abrams directed, and I think it deserves to be talked about more. I mean, this film has so many just hilarious laugh out loud moments, especially if you're a fan of Rambo. I mean, this is Charlie Sheen at his most ripped, at his most physically empowered, so to speak, and at his most physically comedic. I mean, he's hilarious in a lot of ways in this. This is my favorite Charlie Sheen film, is Hot Shots Part 2. I really enjoy this movie. I also enjoy some of the other films he's done, like Navy SEALs and so on, and he's done a lot of movies that I like, but Hot Shots Part 2, man, I could watch that over and over again and never get tired of it. I mean, just look at this. How can you not crack up at this image? I mean, he runs out of arrows, so he grabs a fucking chicken and shoots a guy with it. And Richard Crenna has a cameo role playing basically the Trotman character. Basil Doris comes in and does the score, which is really great and is very similar. Actually, it's Sylvester LeVay. No, that's Hot Shots. Yeah, Basil Doris does the score for Hot Shots Part 2. I mean, it sounds like Rambo. It's his best Jerry Goldsmith. You have epic scenes like the one where Topper has like the gun and he's like shooting down everybody like a target practice, and you see this counter on the bottom of the screen show up, and it's like body count equal to RoboCop equal to Total Recall. And then it's just shooting all these guys, and it's like, bloodiest movie ever! And I'm like, this is one of the funniest movies ever! Oh man, I love it. Miguel Ferrer also has a good cameo role. There's just so many fun sight gags. Topper's in the boat shooting the machine gun, and the boat fills up with so much shells that it sinks. Speaking of bullets, he grabs some shells and just throws them at these guys, and it kills them. And then you have the stuff with Saddam Hussein and like the T-1000 parody. Lloyd Bridges is great as well. Oh man, just talking about this movie makes me want to watch it again. Yeah, the opening sequence is just a great parody of the opening of Rambo 3. The stick fighting scene. So the Topper is fighting this one guy. They got their hands bandaged up, taped up. His opponent is able to put like glass and nails and like all kinds of nasty shit on his fists. But Topper's left with like caramel and like gummy bears and like M&Ms. And he punches him in the balls so hard that his balls pop out of his mouth like he's Mr. Bucket. It's just... I wish I could just show you clips from this movie. I really do. Anyway, yeah. I don't know what else to say about Hot Shots Part 2. It's full of so many sight gags. It's full of so many funny moments. She just blows up the Energizer Bunny. It's like, and it keeps going and going and going. Boom! Anyway, yeah. I highly recommend Hot Shots Part 2 if you haven't seen it, especially if you're a fan of 80s, 90s action movies. Anyway, yeah, Hot Shots Part 2 is definitely a comedy sequel that doesn't suck.
And we're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye. And when Santa squeezes his fat white ass down that chimney tonight, he's gonna find the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Dun, 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 dun. As you can see, the next film is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. What can I say about this film that hasn't already been said by so many different people? This is probably my favorite Christmas film. I watch this every year. It's a holiday tradition. And it's hard for me to pick between this and the first film. I love National Lampoon's Vacation. But there are times where I can't decide between National Lampoon's Vacation and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I think they're equally as great and they're equally as funny. Christmas Vacation is widely considered to be a classic for a good reason. It's got everything you want out of a Christmas movie. You got the holiday spirit, you got the family element, you got the laughs, you got the yucks, and it's also different enough, and it has a different enough take on things that it stands out. There's been plenty of films that have tried to recapture what Christmas Vacation has captured, the dysfunctional family Christmas, and none of them have even come close to capturing the absolute brilliance that Christmas Vacation does. It's really well written. I mean, John Hughes just did a phenomenal job with the screenplay, and it's such a huge step up from European Vacation. And if you think about it in retrospect, it's kind of surprising. See, Vacation, classic. First film, just an absolute classic. One of the best comedies of all time, let alone the entire 1980s. But the sequel, it was watered down, it was PG, and it was disappointing. I personally might put it on my worst of list when it comes to comedy sequels, because it's so disappointing and just not very funny, and such a missed opportunity. And it seems like John Hughes, he knew that. He knew that that film lost the dysfunctional spirit that Vacation had. And he decided, I'm going to bring that back with Christmas Vacation. And he did that and then some. It was just like a return to the glory days for Vacation. The Vacation franchise. And it's never really recaptured that. It hasn't even come close. This was it. This was the peak. This is like lightning striking twice. This is lightning struck again. As you can see, even just evidence on the cover. And it shocked everybody. And yeah, justifiably so. I mean, this is one of my favorite Chevy Chase films, just like the first film. It's my favorite Christmas movie. I also enjoy things like A Christmas Story and things like that as well, and A Muppet Christmas Carol and so on, and Silent Night, Deadly Night. But I love Christmas Vacation. It has everything I want out of a comedy, especially a Christmas movie. And so many great moments of slapstick. Chevy at his finest with his slapstick humor. The scene when he's stuck in the attic just leaves me I'm just laughing profusely, just laughing my ass off every time I see that scene. I've seen this film hundreds of times, but it never ceases to not make me laugh. It makes me laugh. It never ceases to make me laugh. I said never ceases not to not make me laugh. That's bullshit. I was just saying it never ceases to make me laugh. It's such a hilarious movie. The stuff in the beginning where he's like insulting all his coworkers, the rant at the end when he finds out he's not getting a bonus. It's just a stupid Jam of the Month club. Everyone that you loved from the cast in the first film, except for Anthony Michael Hall and the actress from the first movie. Who that's always crazy how actors who played Audrey and Rusty never really came back to reprise their roles in any of the sequels. So I always thought it was kind of interesting. But these are some of the best replacements. Definitely better than the actors in the sequel. Especially the Audrey's actor was played by Juliette Lewis. And then you also have Johnny Pilecki. I think that's his name. Yeah, Pilecki, who plays Rusty in this, and he would go on to be famous in The Big Bang Theory as Leonard. So, so yeah, he's really great in this as well for what he has to work with. So the kids are good, unlike the first film. Unlike the first film was great. Sorry, unlike the second movie, which is disappointing, and they were kind of annoying, especially Audrey's actor, the actress who played Audrey. And of course, you got Beverly D'Angelo, the always lovely, always vivacious, always sexy Beverly D'Angelo, the perfect foil to Chevy Chase. They work so great together. They're like your ideal couple. Then you have all the other new cast members who play Clark's family. I mean, yeah, everyone's had to deal with these type of parents, these type of family members during, the Christmas holiday. You deal with it because they're your family. And, people like your cousin Eddie, the shitter is full, you gotta have E.G. Marshall plays like the grandpa or the uncle, who's an asshole. So you only have to deal with them once a year, but you'd rather not, it's so relatable in a lot of ways, especially if you have a dysfunctional family, or even if you don't. I mean, there's always been a few moments in anyone's family during their Christmas holiday where things don't go as well as planned, and people don't get along, and I mean, it all culminates in an insane climax. I mean, there's like a fucking chipmunk that's jumping out at people, or a squirrel, and then the fucking SWAT team shows up. Yeah, I could go on and on and on and on, and then some with Christmas Vacation. Even my grandmother loves it. I mean, this is a family affair. There's a reason why it stood the test of time for so long. Because it's relatable. It's relatable and it's hilarious, and I don't think it'll ever stop being funny, if you ask me. Definitely one of Chevy's best, and probably one of his last truly great films. I mean, I like Nothing But Trouble, but I wouldn't say it's as good as Christmas Vacation. But yeah, kind of after this, he started to have a little bit of a downslide in terms of the quality of his films. There was another sequel, though, that he did that I might put on another list if I did another list of 10 comedy sequels I personally feel don't suck. But yeah, Christmas Vacation, though, classic. You'll crack up. Absolutely, you will. You will crack up because it's absolutely devastatingly funny.
All right, let's party.
Short Circuit 2. Yeah, I know. Well, this is my list, and Short Circuit 2 is, my opinion, it's an underrated sequel. I really enjoy this film. I really like the first film, but I watched the sequel more when I was a kid. The sequel just appealed to me more. Maybe that's part of it. It's nostalgia, but I also think it's honestly a really good sequel, and I'm not the only one. Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up, and I wanted to add this to the list because it's a sequel that seems to be forgotten about. When people talk about sequels, it seems like nobody seems to ever talk about Short Circuit 2. It didn't do very well in the box office, but that doesn't really matter. There's a lot of sequels out there that don't do well in the box office, but have a cult following, and people still talk about them. Short Circuit 2 is one of those that seems to be fallen by the wayside, and it usually is lumped in with the crap pile, and I don't understand that. It's just because it doesn't have Steve Guttenberg and Ali Sheedy? Well, that's too bad, but it's got other people in the cast that end up making up for it. Fisher Stevens comes back. Yes, I know it's this kind of racist stereotype character, but I have to admit I do still enjoy that character. Sorry. But you also have Michael McKean, who, this is one of the few films that he was a lead in that wasn't like as part of an ensemble cast, like a Christopher Guest movie, or This Is Spinal Tap. And he was great. I thought he was great in this. And he and Fisher Stevens had great chemistry. And Johnny Five was not only alive, but he was the star. He was the lead. This was his film, and that was really evident. It was really a lot of fun. There's great practical effects on Johnny Five, and some really fun gags, and it was stuff where he gets upgrades, stuff where he ends up in the inner city. The whole stuff where he has to stop the diamond thieves or the crooks at the end is very exciting and fun. I mean, the first time I ever heard the song "I Need a Hero" by Bonnie Tyler, which is a song with very popular song. You know, I need a hero, and he's gotta be strong, and he's gotta be fast, and he's gotta be larger than life. I need a hero, you know, dun 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 dun. Ah ah. Anyway, I'm no Bonnie Tyler, so I can't really sing that song. But I know it was at Footloose, but I don't remember. I didn't grow up watching Footloose, and I know it appeared in that film first, but that doesn't really fit. How does that fit with Footloose? It fits so much better with Short Circuit 2. They even have it in the action sequence where Johnny Five is stopping these crooks, and that sequence is always stuck in my head. Ever since I first saw it as a kid, I've always had that sequence locked in my brain, and I will never forget it because I just think it's such a fun, awesome, great sequence. Great stunts, great song, really exciting motion picture moment. Yeah, I really like Short Circuit 2. I actually like it a little bit more than the first film. I do like the first film a lot though, but yeah, I definitely do feel that this is a comedy sequel that not only doesn't suck, but I definitely feel that it's undervalued and overlooked.
Mr. Campbell, you're serious about putting on a rock concert.
Are you kidding? I'd give my right eye.
Wayne's World 2. Party time! Excellent! It's party time! Excellent! You'll laugh again. You'll cry again. You'll hurl again. Wayne's World 2 is, I wouldn't say is as funny or as good as the first film, but very few films are. Wayne's World, if you ask me, is one of these seminal 90s comedies. It's my favorite Mike Myers film as well, so it's kind of a hard act to follow. It's also the best SNL film. Without a doubt, there's no other SNL movie that comes close to being as good as Wayne's World for me. But this film is a step down, but it's still funny. It's still really entertaining. You still have Mike Myers and Dana Carvey working really well with each other, having the same excellent chemistry with one another that they had in the first film. The Wayne stock concept is pretty fun. The stuff with Tia Carrera's dad and Mike Myers, Wayne is fighting him, I enjoy because it's like a parody of these old Asian martial arts movies. Christopher Walken is the bad guy. Walken! You have Walken in this. The stuff with the naked Indian guy, where everyone's having the same dream. It's a fun sequel. Same entertaining, fun pop culture parodies are sprinkled throughout this film. For a movie that was literally greenlit as soon as the first film was a huge hit, and probably didn't have that much in terms of the creative process. I mean, I think it came out a year later, a year after the first film, or two, or whatever. It was a very quick sequel, one of those quick make a buck sequels, but it didn't really feel like that to me. It still had some of the same magic that the first film did. So, especially when you compare this to other SNL films. The only SNL films that I think come to being as close as Wayne's World 2 in terms of quality is like Coneheads, which are made around the same time. And I don't mind Stuart Saves His Family, but I don't like it as much as Wayne's World 2. But for the most part, a lot of these SNL original movies based on SNL skits are shit. The Ladies Man? Fuck Ladies Man. The movie sucks. It's so shitty. I'd rather get blackout drunk on Cavassier than watch that again. It's Pat the movie. Have you seen that? It's shit. So it's Pat. It's shit the movie. That's what it is. It's literally shit. The I'm trying to think of the other one. Superstar? Yeah. Yeah. No way. I'll watch that movie again when monkeys fly out of my butt. Not a fan. Superstar is absolutely just a prime example of SNL skit that should have never been made into a film. I wasn't a big fan of those skits to begin with, the ones with Molly Shannon. So yeah, that's another example of a shitty SNL movie. Uh, then you have stuff like Night at the Roxbury. Disappointing. I like those skits, but I didn't think there was enough there for a full movie, and it shows. I mean, it's better than shit like The Ladies' Man or Superstar or It's Pat, but that's not saying much. And then you have the more and more. I can't seem to speak. Uh, then you have one of the more recent titles, MacGruber. I mean, that movie. I'll just watch fucking MacGyver, which is funnier and better than MacGruber, which is just a shitty version of MacGyver. And that was a shitty skit too. I don't understand why that got a movie. Not a fan of that film either. So Wayne's World 2, I don't think should be lumped in with all those other SNL movies because it's a lot better than those. It's miles better than those movies, if you ask me. But yeah, I do enjoy Wayne's World 2. I think it's a very fun sequel. I don't think it's as good as the first film, but not very many films are. But I definitely do feel that Wayne's World 2 is another example of a comedy sequel that doesn't suck.